What is up, people? Welcome to this special We Are Tottenham TV combined 11 for the North London derby. And with us, as always, Ben and Sim from We Are Tottenham TV. And joining us are some Arsenal fans. I know. Babs from Babs 14 TV and Lee from Lee Judges TV. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
No problems.
So we're going to rattle through this because it's going to be fiery otherwise. So very quickly, we're going to look at each position. We're going to play a 4-3-3 and pick which of the number one choices in those positions this panel would choose as part of their combined 11. And we're going to go around in a sort of methodical kind of way. First off, goalkeeper, obviously, and we're going to start with Sim. Sim, Lloris or Ramsdale?
Has to be Lloris. I don't see how there's a competition at the moment. I know Ramsdale had a great season. I know he makes great shots that go straight down his throat, look like world-class saves. He's fantastic stuff, but he's not as good as Hugo Lloris, who's been one of the best keepers in the league throughout the Premier League. I think he's still, there's a reason we gave him a 2-year contract to January. I think he's been stellar this season, captain of France. I can't think there's anyone else than Hugo Lloris for me.
And you know, with Hugo Lloris, like, a lot gets made out of the errors he makes, and every keeper makes errors, and he makes some errors and they get polarized so much. People look at them and people talk about them and they don't recognize the good stuff he does. They only look at those mistakes. And Ramsdale, I think mistakes have started to creep into his game the last couple of weeks, even the last couple of months. And look, I'm not doubting Ramsdale. When he signed for Arsenal, everyone laughed and was like, why are you signing Ramsdale? Been relegated twice. And he's proved everyone wrong. He's had a very good season, but you can't call him better than Hugo Lloris. You just can't.
So that's 2 for Lloris. Lee?
I don't think there's anything between them, if I'll be honest, from shot stopping and everything like that. I think Ramsdale, by the way, very good crossing. I think the one weakness in Lloris is his kicking. And that's Ramsdale's strength. And for that reason, I'm going for my boy Ramsdale.
And Babs.
A goalkeeper's strength is kicking.
No. Go back, I didn't say that. I said there's nothing between the two of them. Shot stopping, crosses and everything like that. I just think, out of the two, that Lloris is not that great at his kicking, where Ramsdale is. And that is the reason that I think shades it for Ramsdale. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Horrible.
And Babs?
I would say, I disagree. I think Lloris is a better shot stopper. I think that's kind of obvious. Lloris is on his day was a world-class shot stopper. But I think in a modern-day team, to play out of the back, to be composed, kicking out of the back, I'm not saying Lloris is a bad goalkeeper. I just think football's evolved past him. You just compare him to David De Gea, for example. Top goalkeeper in his day, but now football's past that.
I think De Gea's been the best goalkeeper in the league this year.
See, I disagree. There you go. I completely disagree. I think he's awful with his feet, and he cannot be a part of a top team. So if you compare Lloris to Ramsdale, and just to say out of those two players, who'd be more likely to get into Man City or Liverpool's team and their style of football? It's Ramsdale, because he's able to play with his feet, whereas Lloris isn't. It's not his fault. That's just what he was when he came through. But I think for my style of football, to play out of the back, to be progressive, I think my keeper playing out the back is very important, and unfortunately Lloris isn't that goalkeeper.
I just don't think Ramsdale's there just yet. And I think right now Lloris is ahead of him. It's not to say that Ramsdale might not be better than him in a few years' time, but right now, here and now, I think Lloris is the better.
Would you agree that Ramsdale's better with his feet?
Yeah, but Lloris is better at goalkeeping.
I don't think there's a question there, right?
Yeah, but Lloris is better at goalkeeping.
No, but I'm asking you in terms of playing out the back first.
Okay.
Who do you think's better with his feet?
I think
Ramsdale's better with his feet, but Lloris is a better goalkeeper.
But it depends. So if you're
a
willing
better
to,
goalkeeper.
But if you're the top teams, you concede less shots anyways. You're more focused on playing out the back, on keeping the ball. That's my idea.
We're not a Man City. You're not a Man City.
I know we're not. But that's the ideal scenario.
We're Arsenal, and we're talking about who is the better goalkeeper.
I think
Lloris.
Ramsdale.
So I think it's fair to say that it's a split opinion. Unfortunately, it falls to me to be the casting vote.
Of course.
Okay.
It's a Tottenham channel. Let it go.
You knew what you were walking into.
I reckon Galini. No, I have to say, I've said it before. I'm on record as saying I believe that Lloris is the best shot stopper in the league still. I think Ramsdale has the potential to be a very, very good goalkeeper. At the moment, however, I think Lloris is still at a higher level. So in this one, I'm going to cast my vote for Lloris. So moving on to still 10 more players to go, Lee. Don't worry.
1-0 Tottenham. We said whoever scores first is going to win this.
Moving on to left back. So we have for Spurs, and obviously forgot to mention this is players that are currently uninjured. You can't pick injured players. So for left back, we've got the choice between Tavares and Ryan Sessegnon, and we'll start with Ben.
I don't rate Tavares at all. I think he's a walking train wreck, to be honest. He's made countless amount of mistakes in big games, cost you many goals. Sessegnon, on the other hand, is not. He hasn't exactly lit the Premier League alight this season. He's got his injury problems. But I would say that Sessegnon is just... No, I think Sessegnon is the better player than Tavares. I really believe that. I think he provides better for us in the final third. He's got quite a few assists this season for us. And defensively, I think he's better than Tavares as well. Quite a bit better defensively.
No, I agree.
Lee?
I don't see.
Yeah, listen, you know what I mean? If Sessegnon ain't that great this Everton, and he's made mistakes as well, but I would say that he's just a little bit better defender.
It's more reliable.
More reliable as a defensive player. I don't even think Tavares will play on Thursday, so that tells you all you need to know, really. So I'm
Cedric there if you want.
We can put Cedric there, and if you're going to put, we haven't put Cedric there, but if Cedric was there, I would put Cedric in, but because he's been playing very, very well, you know what I mean. But we've gone with Tavares and Sessegnon because you want to get another one in.
You chose the team. In terms of Sessegnon, you got to remember we played Liverpool twice and he's pocketed Salah twice this season. And I think that's an indication of the potential of him. However, he does struggle badly with injuries, but when he's been on the pitch, I think he's been better than Tavares. That's what I would say.
Bavs?
I think if it was fully fit, the rules that I wanted, it'd be easy. It'd be Kieran Tierney. But hey, we'll give you it. You can have Sessegnon. I don't think he's that good of a player. I think he's all right. But Tavares is trash. So...
Yeah, unfortunately, Tierney's been injured again, hasn't he? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So is
Otherwise, but even if
So if
Reguilon was
Reguilon fit, I don't think that'd be a debate.
Nah, Tierney's one of the best left backs in the country. We know that, but
A debate for another
unfortunately-
time.
But unfortunately, when we've gone for those rules, so
I'll give you Tierney. I think
no,
Tierney's a good
he's-
player
yeah,
and
very
he's the
good
best
player.
left back out of the
yeah.
I'll give you Tierney, but you're having Sessegnon.
It's been
Stitch this
three
up.
votes. It's been 3 votes for Sessegnon, but I mean, Sim, you can quite safely, if you want, say Tavares now if you want. But who would you have?
Still going Sessegnon.
I think that's pretty unanimous. So Sessegnon for left back. Now, for centre backs, you need to pick 2 of the following 4. Okay, and we'll start with you, Lee. So the 4 on offer are Romero, Dyer, Gabriel, and Ben White.
I'm going for my 2 guys.
Both of them.
Both of them. I think Gabriel is a superb centre half. Do you know? I will say this about Gabriel: the last few games he's not been quite at it, but beginning of the season, brilliant. When Arsenal were struggling, he come in and he really set the defence away. I think he's a little bit underrated, if I'll be honest. And Ben White, I think if I think it gets a little bit of criticism for the price tag and everything there. Very, very comfortable on the ball. It's got a little bit about him that I like. I do like that, a little bit of, I like that in a player. And I just think like...
What is that little bit? A little bit of
a bit skullduggery. He's got a little bit of in there, a little bit of like that. I think Ramiro's got that, by the way. You know what I mean?
Times 10, yeah, I think.
So.
But for me, I think Ben White and as a partnership as well, I think that sometimes as a central defence, you dismiss that a little bit. I think a partnership is very, very good, and they complement each other very, very well.
Yeah.
So,
I rate Romero. I think he's a good centre back.
Okay.
I have my doubts in a back 4 because I've not seen him play in a back 4, and even in his last club, I think he was at a back 3. But it's kind of weird because I think Romero and Ben White would be a very good partnership. I like Gabriel, but I think if you're comparing Romero to Gabriel, they're both kind of similar, aggressive centre backs, ball dominant. They want to win the ball back. I think Ben White's a good complementary centre back in terms of playing out the back. But because they're both right-footed, I don't think they can work in the same team. So to have that left foot, right foot dynamic, I'd go Gabriel as a left-sided centre-back, and I'd give you Romero.
Okay. Sim?
Yeah. I think Romero has to be in there. I think he's been pretty much a revelation since he's come to Tottenham with his aggressive style, his proactive defending. I think he can definitely work in the back 4. He won the Copa America in the back 4. And also I think that's non-issue. Second centre-back is a bit difficult. Obviously, Eric Dyer's had a pretty good season for Tottenham, but Ben White and Gabriel have both been good. I think Gabriel has too much of a reckless streak for me. So I think when things start going against him, I think he has a tendency to start losing his head. So for me, it's between Dyer and Ben White, and I think I have to go for Eric Dyer. I think Eric Dyer is a bit more dominant in the air. I think he's a bit more. Ben White's probably a bit better on the ball, but I think if the ball's coming in the box, I want someone battening down the hatches. Who would I rather? I think Dyer.
Okay. Ben.
Interesting. I think Romero's got to be in there, in my opinion. I think Romero Rolls Royce of a defender, and I think he's revolutionised our defence since coming in it, especially when Conte's been here. So I think he's got to be in there. Aggressive defender, loves winning the ball back. He's so calm and composed when on the ball as well. The other centre back, so it's got to be between Dyer, White, and Gabriel.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to have to side with Gabriel on this one. I've actually really rated Gabriel this season. I think he's been a top quality player. My brother does bring up a good point where he can lose his head and be a bit reckless at times, but I think that I do think he is a very good defender. I prefer him to Ben White, and Dyer, I think, can be upgraded on with Tottenham. I think that he's performing at probably his ceiling at the moment, and I think Gabriel has had a better season than him.
Excellent. So we've got that. After that, the results are 3 votes for Romero, 1 for Dyer, 3 for Gabriel, and 1 for White. So I think the centre-back pairing would be Romero and Gabriel. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So, Babs, we'll start with you for right-back. Choice between Tomiyasu and Emerson.
After that performance at Anfield, is that how you? just say Tomiyasu and move on.
Is it really worth having this debate?
No. Well,
Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu. Sim?
One word answer. It's easy.
that says it. That says it all.
Can I say Anfield Emerson?
Only Anfield Emerson.
Anfield Emerson. I think definitely there was obviously a battle between the two clubs for Tomiyasu and Emerson in the summer, didn't we? I think, gotta say, Arsenal probably got the better of that deal, that's for sure. So I have to go with Tomiyasu.
But the thing is, yeah, there was a battle, but I don't think if Tomiyasu is in this Spurs squad now, he doesn't play right back. He plays in the right centre-back role, in my opinion.
Yeah, but we're playing a 4-3-3.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying in terms of the battle between the two players.
No, I hear that. He's a wing back.
Yeah.
Emerson.
Yeah. Well, he's not, but he plays
not,
there. He plays there.
Yeah. Well,
Nah, but I think when you're comparing the two players, you got to go for Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, Tomiyasu is just a better defender. You know what I mean? Like, better defender.
Now we come to a bit of a harder one. 3 midfielders. So you've got 6 choices, gentlemen. You have to pick 3. Okay, and we'll start with you, Sim. So the midfielders are Winks, Bentancur, and Højbjerg for Spurs. El Neni, Xhaka, and Odegaard for
The
Arsenal.
biggest Winks enthusiast in the game.
Harry Winks definitely in there.
Pick your 3.
Well, I wanted to say that Winks is better than Wilshere, and I think I probably over a long period I got that one right.
Wilshere's playing out in Denmark now.
Exactly. Well, whatever. I think my 3 would probably be, I think, Højbjerg, definitely of recently, he's been really super consistent and he's been really effective defensively. I think he's cut out those mistakes out of his game. He's become a lot less sloppy. So I think I'll put him in there. I think Odegaard can't look, but I think he has to be in there. I think chances created. I think he's excellent. I think he gets a bit overhyped because I would like to see him get more goals and assists to his name, but the chances created, I can't deny that. And I think dribbling really good. So I think he has to be in there. So the last spot, is it El Neni, is it Xhaka, or is it Bentancur?
Or Winks.
So is it El Neni, Xhaka, or Bentancur? Okay, I think you can rule out El Neni as much as he's done well. I think it's Bentancur or Xhaka. Look, Xhaka's playing well recently, I have to say that. But I have to side with Bentancur. I think he's done really well since coming in January. I think he's a lot less of a liability off the ball than Xhaka is. I think defensively, I have to side with Bentancur. On the ball, I'll probably just about side with Xhaka. But I think defensively, I think he's less of a liability. He's less likely to get sent off and all that kind of stuff. And I just think he's a more reliable player. So I go with Bentancur.
Ben?
Winks, first of all. No, I'm joking. No, not Harry Winks. Harry Winks can't be anywhere near this.
Shall I even bother mentioning it?
You can leave Harry Winks out of this conversation. But
poor Harry, you can leave him out.
I think the first midfielder I'm going to pick is Højbjerg. I think he's been Mr. Consistent this season, especially in the last 2-3 months. I really like his. I think he's been our most consistent player over the last 2-3 months. Strong in the tackle, even goes forward as well. So I think Højbjerg definitely one of them. My brother's completely right in saying Odegaard, the amount of chances he created. And I think that in terms of the amount of assists he gets, I think that says more about your front line, Arsenal's front line, than it does about Odegaard, to be honest. So I think Odegaard gets in there. I think he's a top quality player. And I'm also going to side with Bentancur in the third midfielder. I think that when you're comparing Granit Xhaka, you probably want to compare him more to Højbjerg than you do with Bentancur. And I think Bentancur is just a better all-round player. I think he can move the ball quicker. I think he's better in the defence. And yeah, the only thing with Bentancur, he does lose the ball in very bad situations sometimes, but on the flip side of that, Xhaka gets sent off an awful lot, gets an awful amount of bookings, and you don't want to go into a big game with Granit Xhaka playing, that's for sure.
Okay. Lee?
Well, this is why Spurs
Winks,
are where
right?
this is where Spurs are where they are. Like, you know what I mean? The love for Højbjerg, you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Like, listen, I ain't a great Granit. I think Arsenal need to upgrade on Granit Xhaka. He's been the best midfield player. I think in the last month in the league, one of them in the league's been absolutely superb. Like, you know, and even now the Arsenal fans are really loving him with his performances, and he's dominated games in the last few games, and I can tell you that now against Spurs he got injured in that game. He was brilliant in that game as well. You know, so for me, I can't believe that he's not shoo-in for the team. The way the teams are playing this season, I think he's been fantastic. So I'm going to go with him. Ødegaard as well, definitely in there. Now, I haven't really seen too much of that. What's his name?
Bentancur.
But what I have seen of him, I've been quietly impressed. I thought he's done okay. He moves the ball quickly and things like that. So I'm like El Neni, the last 3 or 4 games has been brilliant. But if you're going to go like from January, you can't just have someone in after 3 or 4 games. On current form, I probably would go El Neni because he's been that good. But I'm not having Højbjerg anywhere near, like, you know what I mean? But like, I think he's he's one of those blokes, and I hope I do meet him one day. I'd like to give him a little slap, you know, on the football field.
Right,
But like,
I'll bet you don't.
I'd love to. I'd love to have played against him in my day. I'll tell you, like, you know what I mean? He would have been in the stands 4 or 5 times a game. But he's got that little thing about. But I quite like that. But I haven't seen too much of him. But I would go with him,
Bentancur.
Yeah.
So you're going
Can't say,
Bentancur,
Odegaard,
Xhaka, yeah.
Babs?
I think if it was a midfield 3 where you got your number 6, your deep liar, the obvious answer would have been Thomas Partey. Unfortunately not.
He's injured.
Skip's a good player as well.
He's injured.
But I'd go, as at 6, I'd go Xhaka
Okay.
over Højbjerg. I don't rate him too highly. Odegaard, shoo-in, we all talk about him. And I think, I'll go Bentancur.
Okay, thank you very much. So if I just tally up the votes, it looks like the midfield 3 is Bentancur and Odegaard, and it's a draw between Højbjerg and Xhaka. Now, this one's going to be a bit of a weird one. I would put Xhaka in because he's most likely to be sent off. And so
He could score a goal.
You get that
Thank you
one.
very well. I'll take that.
It's going to be Bentancur,
I'll take that.
Xhaka and Odegaard, I think, for the midfield.
I'll take that.
So we come over to the right-hand side. You're right wide forward.
There's no to ooh here.
there's no
There's ooh here. I don't know what you guys are doing.
I'm going to have to cast another vote, aren't I? Kulusevski or Saka?
Ginger from Sweden, 100%. I think Kulusevski has come in. I said Romero revolutionised our back line. He's revolutionised our front line. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. He's already got more assists than Saka has all season.
Goals?
In the very small amount
Let
of
him
time
have
that
his
he's
say,
been
like,
there.
let him have their.
I'm a big Saka fan, so it's hard. You know?
Look, I'm not dissing Saka at all, because I think Saka is a brilliant player, and I think he really is. But that's just how much I rate Kulusevski. I think Kulusevski has got a better footballing IQ than Saka. The only thing that Saka has on Kulusevski, what he's shown in a Spurs shirt so far, is finishing ability, because Kulusevski's not shown that properly in a Spurs shirt just yet, and his speed. I think speed, but I think Kulusevski's got much better brain, footballing brain up there, and I think he's the better player.
Lee?
Laughable. Laughable. That is.
Why is it
Absolutely laughable?
It is laughable.
Why?
It is. Do you know what?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go Martinelli for the same reasons and put him in place of Son.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there's no that Saka. I'm going to say this now. Been following football a very, very long while. It's an absolute pleasure to watch this boy play. Absolute pleasure.
Well, Kulusevski, yeah, I agree.
I can't even say his name. I don't even know. You know what I mean? There's no comparison for me. Saka gets into any team.
It's a legitimate conversation, Kulusevski.
It is
not. It is not.
Saka gets into Liverpool. He gets into Manchester
Over
City.
Salah?
He gets into any team.
He goes over Salah. He gets over Salah.
Has Salah been playing that well last few games?
He's going to get player of the year.
I'll tell you that now.
Well, that's just
I'm telling you.
Calm down on Salah.
Hear me out on this, because I'll tell you that Saka will get into Liverpool. Saka will get into
current
Manchester
form.
City
No, he wouldn't.
because he
Mahrez
can
is better
play
than Saka.
anywhere in the team.
No, I agree on that.
So
He would get in
they'll find a place for him because he's that good. Right, the only team he can't get into is Tottenham, so that's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
He can play right back.
He can play. I'll tell you what. He can play left back. I'll tell you that now. He's played right wing back.
Fair enough, but we're talking about as a right attacking midfielder.
No, so as a right attacking midfielder, like, he probably wouldn't get in places in that position. But I tell you that we're talking Saar, we're talking like Clark. No way.
So
Saka gets into.
If you're choosing your right forward,
Saka goes in there. Saka's the best player we got.
Okay.
He is.
In my opinion, like, you know what I mean, Arsenal are have got great players in there. Saka, and I'll tell you what, like, we'll see on Thursday, you'll see how good he is.
Okay.
All right, you'll see, and that's how much I back a 20-year-old kid. All right, that's how good he is.
Saka's that guy. And look, the funniest thing is, I really rate Kulusevski.
That guy.
I rate Kulusevski. I wanted him at Arsenal, but the funny thing was, Arsenal wanted to sign Kulusevski as a backup to Saka. Right? He's a good player, Kulusevski, and he will be a good player in the future as well. But you mentioned footballing
How old is
IQ.
he?
He's 20 as well, 21, 20.
yeah.
But this is what I'll say about Kulusevski. How many games of him did he actually watch of him prior to coming to Spurs?
A few.
How many? We're talking.
I don't know. Ballpark. Well, I've saw him at the
Some
Euros.
great
I saw him at
YouTube
Juventus.
compilations.
So compilation. So you can't. You're basically saying Saka's done it for what? 2 seasons now. Top level. This year he's really excelled. 11 goals, 6 assists. Right, but even last year, I mean, there's a reason why he was starting for England in the Euros as a right winger when he was meant to go as a backup left back. Right, he's proven it for 2 years now.
I agree, Saka's a
right?
good player.
So to watch Kulusevski have good form for a couple months, he wasn't even starting a couple games ago, right? He's had a couple.
Saka's never been rested.
He's had a decent spurt recently. Kulusevski.
He didn't start one game.
Kulusevski's had a decent spurt.
The game he didn't start and then came on and
Bukayo
completely
Saka's
changed the
been
game.
doing it for 2 seasons now, right?
Saka's never been rested.
So there you go. So for 2 seasons now, he's been doing it. So if you watch the guys play for 2 years, there's not a comparison to be made. Kulusevski's got potential, but if he can keep doing it for 2 seasons, then maybe as a conversation,
I think he was
even
doing it for Juventus.
he wasn't even starting. That's why they sold
I
it.
think I might have Eddie in
at
front.
the end,
I think I
towards
might
the
have
end,
Eddie in
before
front of Kane now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This is a disgrace of embarrassment. I was coming here to get out to have a civil
I'll tell you
conversation.
what, most fans-
This is a violation.
Saka.
Rather than getting bogged down, Sim, what's your view?
Yeah, I'm saying Saka's a fine player. No one is saying that Saka's not a good player. Look, 11 goals as a 20-year-old, really fair enough. But Kulusevski's coming in January. He's played 14 games, 11 goal contributions. He's got more assists than Saka has this season already. He's created more chances than Saka's created in the whole season. He's only played 14 games. That he's outdoing Saka since he's come into the Premier League. There's no debating that. Look, the fact is Saka's got 11 goals. Fair enough. Kulusevski has 3. He's only been here since January.
Saka does more than score goals and assists.
And so does Kulusevski. So Kulusevski is a very hard-working player. He makes tackles. He tracks back. He does all the hard stuff. So Kulusevski is in the same conversation at the moment as Bukayo Saka. I don't know why.
I am going to argue that
Why not?
Martinelli gets in this team now over Saka.
Why is that so amazing to you?
Because Sonny Song does it when
You guys,
against
if you
them.
watch Saka
Unbelievable.
play week in,
I've
week
watched
out,
Saka play week
You
in,
don't
week
know.
out. I
Because
do.
clearly you don't. If you do, then I need to get your eyes checked, my friend.
Why?
Because you're not watching him.
Do you watch Kulusevski week?
Yeah, I do, and he's a good player. I'm not saying
Yeah.
he's not a good player, but
Why does he have more assists than Saka?
So what about the goals then?
Well, yeah, but he's only been here since
Saka's
January.
Arsenal's goal scorer, our creator's Martin Odegaard. Is he not? So
Okay.
Saka's job is to finish off the
So could
chances.
it not be argued that Kulusevski is combining 2 players' roles?
Is he 3 goals?
We don't know.
Yeah, since January. Since January.
Go on,
Anyway,
look,
so
we're
look,
on that. I've got to go in a minute.
This one's split.
Unbelievable.
So again, I've got to do the casting vote.
No.
No, genuinely, I love Kulusevski. I think he's really good. I do not. I've always had question marks over Saka anyway. Again, that's a matter of record.
We'll see on Thursday. Then,
On this one,
let's
I'm
just
going
hope
with
it just
Kulusevski. So we'll now come to the left-hand side, and we'll start with you, Lee. Son or Martinelli?
Martinelli now, like, you know. Scores goals, got more ability than, you know what I mean. In 5 years' time, will be 10 times better than Song will ever be.
Yeah, true.
Because, you know, Song's one-dimensional. And then so, like,
Son or Martinelli?
Yeah, I think Martinelli and Smith Rowe get above Son now. I mean, these guys, they've won a trophy, an FA Cup,
well,
right?
no,
Son
he plays for Brazil as well.
He plays for
like,
Brazil as well, you know what I mean?
so,
So he's going to the World Cup.
you know, like
Listen,
Sweden.
Yeah, I'd go Martinelli now.
If we stick again to the facts like we did with the last argument.
So Ben
Son-
and Sim, Son or Martinelli? I mean,
I
it's obvious. I think
20-goal man, Heung-min Son, world-class player, something that Arsenal don't have. It's an easy debate, that one.
Yeah, come on. Heung-min Son is one of the best wingers in the Premier League.
Saka don't get into the Spurs team.
My brain's zoned out of this conversation.
I'm zoned out of this. Like,
Saka
Why?
No, I'm going back. I'm going to
You've left
Saka
out-
does not get into a team of Tottenham, right? No, he don't. Can't get into Tottenham's team, front three, and they've lost 11 games this season. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Son
I
of
am shocked.
Martinelli. Sim, you were saying?
Has to be Heung-min Son. I mean, there's no debate there. I mean, his top goals, second in the league in the goals, 20 goals, 2-footed. I mean, he's one of the best wingers in Europe, let alone the Premier League. So
I mean, this one, a casting vote again. This one is easy. I mean, Son's world class. Martinelli might be one day, but he isn't at the moment. So we'd go with Son. And finally, we come to the striker, and we'll start with you, Babs.
Well, for going
Kane or Nketiah?
Going off form, and Nketiah's got more goals over the past two games now. So if we're going to goals and goals and goals, I think
Eddie's only played 8 starts, 4
so if you
goals.
go per 90 minutes, goals, Eddie, he's won a trophy as well. You know what I mean? FA Cup. I think he's got 2 FA Cups now, right?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, 2 FA Cups.
But
England's all-time under 21 top goal scorer. Do you know what I mean?
Sim?
it's not even a debate. I think
Exactly. Yeah.
not even a debate. Come on.
North
What do you
London
guys
Derby's highest scorer of all time. Going to be England's highest goal scorer of all time. He's going to break the Premier League record of most goals ever. He's going to be Tottenham's highest leading goal scorer ever. Eddie Nketiah is going to be leaving in a free in the summer. So.
And Mr. Judges.
no, I mean, all jokes aside, you know what I mean? It's Eddie all day long.
He's done it again, that league
Listen, Harry Kane, there's no, the argument of it all is Harry Kane already is the same argument with Saka.
Not really. We've only seen Kulusevski since January. He's only joined.
It's sport it for me.
Why?
Even going down that route, right? Do you know what I
You're
mean?
leaving out Arsenal's
At the
best
end of the
player.
day, you're arguing and feeling Harry Kane, of course he gets in, but you're telling me that Saka does not get in to the Spurs
Kulusevski
team.
signed in January. That's what we've
So
got to see.
you've got a chance of signing Saka to play for Spurs. You're turning it down.
No, he can be back up to Kulusevski.
Has Kulusevski got
He can
more?
play left back.
Oh, I'm
Has
not
he-
having it.
Has he got more assists than Salah?
It's a ridiculous
in that period of
conversation.
time?
Who?
It's Kulusevski. He's got more assists than Salah in that period of time since he signed.
Don't think.
Salah's
Don't know.
been poor last
Don't
week.
think so.
by the way.
So does that make him a better player than Salah then?
I don't think so. I don't know if he has.
This could go on for a while.
And we're doing the manager.
And the manager, yeah. So Conte,
George Graham. There you go.
Conte,
Like,
Graham.
let's go for George Graham, who's managed both. Okay. We do need to wrap up. My thanks to Lee and Babs from Babs TV and Lee Judges TV. As always, Ben and Sim, is an absolute pleasure. Thank you from me as well. The final lineup is as follows. In goal, Lloris. Left back, Sessegnon. Centre backs are Romero and Gabriel. Right back, Tomiyasu. In midfield, we got a 3 of Bentancur, Xhaka and Odegaard. And up front, a 3 of Kulusevski, Son and Kane. So please like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.